Fiorella Isabel, host of the COVID Couch, also known as the Convo Couch, went to the March for Medicare for All event after her podcast co-host was removed from the event because he refused to respond to the question of whether or not he was vaccinated against COVID. Now, the thing about the Convo Couch is this is an anti-vaxxer conspiracy theory podcast, right? Now, again, these people are not in favor of Medicare for All. This is someone on Twitter who made this big, huge spiel about why she left the left, and Fiorella Isabel responds saying, agree, I'm against doing that, in response to someone saying, I left the left because Medicare for All sucks. Fiorella Isabel is against Medicare for All. She has campaigned against it. She campaigned for Tulsi Gabbard. Same thing with Jimmy Dore. Why are they going to a March for Medicare for All event when they don't support the policy of Medicare for All? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. And another thing that's super interesting is, again, this is her co-host on the Convo Couch, Pasta. Unfortunately, I will no longer be attending/speaking at the M4A March. The local organizers, after asking me if I was vaccinated, demanded I wear a mask and take a COVID test. I refused. I will not be told when and what to do with my body. I support M4A, not medical tyranny for all. So again, these people are anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorists. One of them was removed from the event for being too obnoxious. But let's see, Fiorella Isabel actually made it on stage. So I've got an interesting amount of clips here, and I'm going to play them and we'll see how it goes. Oh my god, this is one of those clips that has no volume whatsoever. My apologies, folks. Hold the phone.
Who ran with working people.
Okay.
We have the squad who ran with working people's money, who ran and took every last cent that a lot of us had and didn't push for Medicare for All, who right now refuse to retweet any of the March events.
Okay, so let me get this straight. AOC runs for Congress. She takes working people's money on the platform of trying to get Medicare for All, the Green New Deal, etc. She introduces the Green New Deal. She introduces Medicare for All, right? Or Pramila Jayapal introduced it, and she signs on to it as a co-sponsor, right? And now she is campaigning in Ohio's 11th district to try to get another member of the squad elected so that they can support Medicare for All. She's trying to expand the votes for Medicare for All in the Democratic-led Congress. But she's not retweeting my podcast. What? Like, okay, so I just don't get it. She's not retweeting your podcast, so therefore she's against Medicare for All? Bizarre. Anyway, so let's watch this clip here. Oh my god, Lord have mercy.
Refuse to call out their politicians, who refuse to hold them accountable. We have the squad who ran with working people's money, who ran and took every last cent that a lot of us had and didn't push for Medicare for All, who right now refuse to retweet any of the March events. Okay, we have one show up, Cori Bush, props to her for showing up in DC. But if you're gonna run, if you're gonna have a mask that says Medicare for All, if you're gonna have words that says Medicare for All, and you're not gonna do a goddamn thing to actually push it, I have a problem with that. Because we have people dying every single day right now. One of the most memorable things I saw in that January was a young man wearing all his medical bills along his jacket. Those were all the bills that he had to pay because we don't have health care in this country. And if the government gave a damn about...
Again, I want to remind you all, the idea that people need to pay for health care is fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And again, they are weaponizing poor people's righteous anger and funneling that energy into something useless. AOC is standing in between you and healthcare. Okay, AOC leaves Congress. Then what? Does anyone know? Okay, AOC is no longer in Congress. Now we get Medicare for All? What? Maybe we need to get Nancy Pelosi kicked out of office. Maybe we need to kick out all the corporate Democrats actually standing in the way. Maybe we need to vote out Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and all these neoliberals. No. It's all AOC. So AOC will leave Congress, then what happens? ask yourself that question. Do we get closer to Medicare for all when AOC leaves Congress? Does anyone actually think that?
Giving you health care, they would have done it at the very least during a pandemic, but they don't care. So the fight for health care doesn't end with Medicare for all. It is only the beginning, because we cannot have these politicians in the government bring in big pharma to tell us everything we need to do.
Okay, so now AOC and Bernie Sanders are listening to big pharma. Because Medicare, and again, I want to remind everyone, she is against Medicare for all. So now she's going at the March for Medicare for All rally and talking about how Medicare for all is bad. Because big pharma is in control. Huh?
When did we start trusting every single politician and every single thing that...
Now again, this is the problem with conspiracy theorists such as Fiorella Isabel. People have a righteous and a very, very, very well thought out understanding of how bad big pharma is. I hate pharmaceutical companies. Most people hate pharmaceutical companies. Probably everyone does, except for the people that work in pharmaceutical companies. I'm sure some of them hate it too, right? So what you do is you get people that already hate big pharma and that already want Medicare for all and that already hate politicians, and you funnel that energy, that righteous anger, into hating AOC. And what does that get anyone? Podcast clicks. That's it. Doesn't get us Medicare for all. It doesn't reduce big pharma's power. Just gets the Convo couch a couple new subs on YouTube. And that's the problem with all of this. It's not like they're funneling this energy and they're marching down to Nancy Pelosi's house. You know? And they're demanding and they're like, you know, doing a sit-in around Nancy Pelosi's house as she's there, not letting her leave. Saying, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to move until you force the vote. That would be actual direct action. That would be actually strategic. But they're not interested. They just want to do these little performative marches, go up there, speak, and then get some podcast subscribers. It's that easy. They don't care about an elongated struggle. They don't care about strategizing. They don't care about organizing. They don't even care about targeting the right people. They're only targeting popular people on the internet for the sake of subscribers. And now she goes a little off the rails here.
Came out of this big pharma. They need to get out. We the people need to write the legislation. Right. We the people need to have our voice. And that's the reality, because at the end of the day, when we were there on January 4th or 5th, fighting for force to vote, and there was also a Julian Assange protest, the reason we were all there was because we were censored. Because the mainstream media, like CNN right here, censors independent media. All of you here, independent media are crucial.
So again, independent media, that's another buzzword. Anyone is independent media. Now again, I support independent media, like Max the dog doing journalism, right? But you have to understand, independent media is not necessarily better than mainstream media. For example, I will trust anything CNN says over the Convo couch any day of the week. Does that mean I automatically love mainstream media and support them all the time? No. It just means that in the specific comparison of independent media outlet, quote unquote, the Convo couch versus mainstream media outlet CNN, I would rather watch CNN. Unless I'm going to do a fucking funny reaction video. Because otherwise I'll watch the Convo couch. But I need you to understand, independent media is not automatically better than mainstream media. A lot of independent media are just people that don't know anything blabbing on a microphone, and they're uneducated and they're stupid and they know nothing about politics, strategy, organizing, activism. You need to understand that. For me personally, I actually know about activism. I've been an activist for a while, a couple years, right? I've done actual on-the-ground organizing. I've done actual protesting. I've done actual forms of radical protesting, right? I've been in a lot of different situations that Fiorella Isabel has never even dreamed of going to. She has had countless opportunities to go to anti-police demonstrations, for example. I haven't seen any. If there are videos of her going to anti-police demonstrations, I'd love to see them. Send them to me. But, again, she is only going out there when she can speak and get more podcast subscribers. She is funneling righteous anger from poor people and manipulating them by using buzzwords and talking points into watching her podcast. And it's embarrassing.
Because they don't talk about Medicare for all. They'll
So, first of all, that's not true. That's not true. There is, in all the videos I saw of the Force to Vote protest, there were no police. Now, again, there might have been a couple. But to say there were more police at the Force to Vote protest than January 6th, I'm sorry, that's absurd. Now, again, I love that they cut her microphone. That's hilarious to me. But again, you need to understand, these people are not out there for your best interest. They're out there for subscribers. Again, I'm out there for subscribers too. I'm a YouTuber. You have to understand your sources, okay? You have to understand. I am just willing to tell you that I do this for subscribers. I will criticize Fiorella Isabel. Like, do I care about her? Not really. Like, to my understanding, I gain nothing other than views and subscribers from even talking about this. I would rather be talking about stuff that actually matters. But a lot of people like when I talk about this, and to make my viewers happy and to get more viewers, I will talk about this. I've avoided talking about the March for Medicare for All for a while because it's just boring. Who cares, right? They've done so many cringy things that I couldn't even begin to imagine listing them all off. But the only reason I'm talking about this is because people want me to. And I'm willing to listen to my audience. But I'm going to tell you up front that that's why I'm making this video. I'm not going to act like I'm some truth teller and I'm speaking truth to power. I'm not speaking truth to power. I'm making fun of idiots online for views. That's what I'm doing. And you know what I'm doing. Everyone should know what I'm doing. And they are doing the same thing. Except they're going to try to act like they're like a main character in like a fucking, you know, a political drama or something. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. And you need to understand, there are people out there that do not have your best interest in mind. I personally have your best interest in mind, probably if you are a poor person, because I myself am a poor person. I've been poor my entire life. So our interests are probably aligned. But also, again, I'm not going to go out there and say AOC is the reason why we don't have Medicare for all. I know the reason why we don't have Medicare for all. Centuries of capitalist propaganda is why we don't have Medicare for all. Harry Truman tried to get us a universal healthcare system. They stopped him. Why? Why is that? Universal healthcare was originally going to be part of the New Deal. And then it was going to be an amendment to the New Deal. And they stopped it. Why? Think about that. Is Fiorella Isabel going to tell you about that? AOC wasn't alive in the 1940s. Unless she's a time traveler, like Jackson Hinkle seems to think. And that's the thing about all of these people, is to say AOC is the reason. AOC has been in Congress for 3 years. 3 years. How can she possibly be responsible for centuries of primitive accumulation that led to capitalist wealth hoarding, that led to the system of government that allows for such ridiculous power imbalances? Look at the House. The House of Representatives was not ever supposed to be capped at 435, but it is. Why? Because that makes it easier for them to have less people in power and concentrate power to more individuals that they can easily corrupt. Why does the Senate even exist? What is going on with the Supreme Court? Why do we have presidents? All of this is to make sure that you don't have access to things like healthcare, right? We know that Medicare for All is cheaper than what we were going through, but it gives less resources to those in power, and those in power are the ones that run the game. AOC has no power. She is powerless. The only thing she has at her disposal is a good Twitter following, and that is why people like Fiorella Isabel are trying to cut into that. They're trying to cut into the only power that AOC ever has, and it probably ever will have, and that is her social media following. They're not going after Big Pharma. They just say, Big Pharma. They're not going after those that are actually in power. They're not even going to tell you about how power structures even work. They're not interested in that. They're interested in subscribers and money. And that's because this is all a big grift. And so again, I just needed y'all to understand that shit. It is embarrassing. Lord have fucking mercy.